someone challenged me to win a game of 5D chess with multiverse time travel, and apparently you get this cool achievement if you do. The only problem is that this is the most complicated, mind-boggling, and insanity-inducing chess variant ever invented. Tortilla Cruz doesn't even know how he won this game, and this guy was so confused he started speaking in Chinese. This chess variant is so difficult that even top chess players and grandmasters can barely even win a single game. So for this video, I have one goal and one goal only. I just want to get this award, which is achieved by getting a checkmate in 5D chess. And you might think that this sounds easy, but the people who play on this game are the sweatiest players you've ever seen in your entire life. And even surviving past the opening moves for a new player like me is basically impossible. I just lost? So after I got absolutely abused in my first game, I knew I needed an actual strategy if I even wanted to have a chance to win a game. Like, I barely even knew how the pieces moved at this point. So I came up with this training plan to help me get just one checkmate in this 5-dimensional chess variant. Starting off with completing every single one of these 5D puzzles, which would help me understand how the pieces moved and the rules of this game. Alright, to make sure we actually know what's going on, we're going to do all these puzzles. Hopefully it allows us to open our brain more and understand this game more. And while I do these tactics, I'll explain how this 5-dimensional variant actually works. Okay, we solved the first puzzle. That was a pretty easy puzzle. So just like a normal chess, you can move up and down, left and right. But in this variant, you can also move through time, which means all the moves in your chess game are recorded in this timeline. And when it's your turn, you can either make a normal move, or you can move a piece back in time to a previous situation. This makes your chosen piece disappear from its original board, and now it exists in this new timeline board. And since there's now 2 timelines, you also have to play on 2 boards. And now that we know how this time traveling thing works, there is one more dimension that we can move in, the multiverse dimension. And all this means is that when we have multiple timelines, we can move our pieces from one timeline to another different timeline. Every time you do this though, it creates a new reality. In this case, we only have 3 realities, but theoretically, you can create as many as you want. It's actually pretty simple if you don't think about it that much, and each piece also has a unique way that they can move through the multiverse, but I'll explain that later, because right now I was actually starting to understand the strategies behind this variant. 1 universe over, 1 space up. Got it. I did have to watch a bunch of YouTube tutorials because my brain wasn't big enough yet to comprehend all these 5D ideas. But I was making good progress and even learned how to checkmate someone with a king somehow. Nice. I was actually speedrunning these tactics pretty quickly, and then I discovered the opening traps puzzles. There are opening traps, so it's probably really good to know these, which would actually be really useful in my games against real players, because this would mean I wouldn't get violated in the first 3 moves of the game like what happened the first time. Or that's what I thought, at least. And while most of these openings were pretty easy, some of them got a little complicated. Alright, this opening trap is a little convoluted here. So after completing all those opening traps, there were only a few tactics left, and after finishing those, I just had 1 puzzle left I had to complete. Okay, we have successfully completed all the necessary puzzles, so now let's actually try to play a real person. I was actually kind of nervous now to play an actual game because if I just got checkmated immediately, all these hours of training would be for nothing, and I might be tempted to resign from life. And for some reason, this matchmaking on this game takes like 100,000 hours. Just like how we're super close to reaching 100,000 subscribers. We're literally only 20k away, so if you actually want to say that you were here before 100k, there's not much time left, so go ahead and subscribe to help us reach our goal. Anyways, back to the video. I'm going to try to employ the same strategy the guy who absolutely violated me last game employed, and in order to do that, we need our knight in this square and our bishop like in this square. Okay, they're bringing their knight out. This is dangerous. We're gonna be more aggressive. We're gonna aggress our opponent more. Uh-oh. My plan for this game was to aggress my opponent way more, but the issue was I was playing an opening that I would play in a normal chess game, and this may have made me a little bit too overconfident. Okay, right now he can't do anything. He only has 1 knight to his name. There's no way I'm getting checkmated. How did I lose again? So it turns out I still couldn't make it past the opening stages of the game, which meant all these tactics that I had spent hours learning would actually be useless if I didn't solve this problem. And to make sure I wasn't just getting unlucky, I played another game only to lose just as quickly. How did I lose again? So I now knew I needed to find a real opening to play. And after a solid 10 seconds of thinking, I came up with a genius plan. I literally just had to copy this opening that this guy used to beat me in 5 moves, use it against someone else, and hope that it worked. So I looked back at one of the games that I got absolutely abused in, and decided to try and copy a strategy of bringing out my knight and queen early on in the game. First of all, we do this opening. Okay, next we want to bring out our queen and attack this pawn. The people in this game are like so sweaty. I don't know why. They play this game like their life depends on it. I was actually making it pretty far in this game. So far we're keeping it simple, just all on the present time board. As long as no one moves into the past, into the different multiverses, we should be good. Well, it turns out we did end up moving into the past multiverses, and everything was in fact not good. Oh my gosh, I lost again. Why are these guys so sweaty? Why? Well, at least I now knew what was the problem. In all of these games, my opponent would attack my king early, and since I didn't think it was important to defend myself, I ended up getting checkmated. As you can see, my opponent's queen is attacking my king on this board and in this past board, and since I can't capture the queen, I was checkmated and lost the game. Also, when there was a bunch of multiverses, my lack of experience would give me huge disadvantage. So if I wanted to win, I needed to do my best to keep everything in one timeline. I would first focus on protecting my king, since that was the most important. Then I could focus on attacking using the opening tactics that I had learned earlier. And if I did end up making it past the middle game, all the other tactics that I had practiced would come in useful. So with that plan in mind, I loaded into this game. Since I was the white pieces, I didn't have to focus as heavily on defense and began with a strategy a previous opponent had used against me, sacrificing pieces to destabilize the enemy king. My opponent tried to hide his king away here, so I just opened up my queen and bishop to try and prepare an attack. We moved around a little and I was able to line up my queen here with his king. He tried to defend with his bishop, but ended up just blundering a pawn. So far, everything was on one timeline, and I knew I could probably beat most of these players at normal chess, so if everything stayed like this, I would be perfectly happy. Luckily, everything did, and I was able to win this free bishop, threatening mate in 2. In standard chess, my opponent's only move would be to capture here with his knight, and after queen takes, he would be checkmated. But my opponent saw this and moved his king back in time to a different position. A position in which my queen and bishop were still lined up, aiming straight at his king, and a position where this bishop was unguarded. Yes! Finally, after 500,000 games, I finally got a checkmate. Oh my goodness gracious. That took like half my lifetime. And finally, after many painful games of being absolutely bullied by these 5-dimensional players, I was able to win a game and claim this achievement for getting a checkmate in 5D chess.